Hey, what's up, everybody? BDO 44 coming at you in another video. All right, so we got some fantastic news, Laker fans. We made it to the second round of the NBA playoffs because we defeated the Memphis Grizzlies tonight, 125-85 at home at Crypto.com Arena. And all the stars were out. Jack Nicholson made his return. It was a star-studded affair. Kyrie Irving came through with the family. Everybody, all the stars were in attendance tonight for a very, 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 very dominant performance by our Los Angeles Lakers. I could not be more pleased and proud of the team and could not be more happy to say that I was wrong about my prediction. I thought Ja and them would go come out and jump on top of us. We did that to them. And let me tell you, Dylan Brooks told us that he didn't respect nobody till you gave him 40. Well, if you check the score, 125-85, we beat them by 40 points. You got your 40, bro. Respect us now. Let's look at these stats, man. We jumped on top of them boys, something fierce. We shot 53% from the field today, 49 for 91 from our squad. 29 from 96 from theirs at 30% from the field on their end. So that'll let you know what type of game we were having. From the three, we shot a lot of threes, but it wasn't too bad because ultimately D'Lo was so dang hot from behind the arc that it did not matter that we attempted 44 of them. We actually hit 15 of them, 15. So that leaves us at 34%, which is actually pretty average, which is a good thing. And they were 12 for 38, 31%. Free throws, they actually shot more than us, so we shouldn't hear nothing about that. They were 15 of 20, we were 12 of 15, so I like that we shot in the 80% range there. Rebounds, we got them by 8, 45, 52 for us, 45 for them. Offensive boards, they got us there, 14 to our 9, but the defensive boards, we definitely got them 43 to 31 there. Where we really kicked butt was at the assist category, 33 to 19. Just really love seeing our team play together in that way. 33 assists as a basketball club is fantastic. 10 to their 6. No, vice versa. We were the ones with 6 steals. They were the ones who had 10 of them. Blocks 15 to 2. The Los Angeles Lakers destroyed them with rim protection tonight. You got to give Anthony Davis and all of the guys credit for just continuing to take that seriously in this series, and we really dominated there. Turnovers, they still had less turnovers than us. That still holds true, 15 to 14. Points off turnovers, both teams had 19 points off those. We've gotten the fast break today, 24 to 14, so that's really a recipe for success for us. We love getting the fast break off of defensive plays. Points in the paint, 52 to 32. Love that. And our largest lead, as I said, was 40, what we ended up winning by. So this is just a fantastic night for Laker fans and the Laker team. Got to congratulate them 100 times over for being able to pull themselves out of that dump. This has been a good season for us thus far. We are still marching forward. We like what we got going on. With us being the team that clinches first in this round, we got a couple seconds to rest up and get ready for God knows who, because it's going to be one of Golden State or Sacramento who will be battling out for Game 7 a couple days from now. So I think that game's on Sunday, actually. So we won't know nothing about our round until well after that, obviously. And that is great rest for our team. Absolutely fantastic rest. My prediction holds firm, even though if you guys watch me closely, you know I flip-flopped on this team left and right. So I'm not going to hold firm in that prediction. But the Lakers did win in 6, and that was what I initially said it would be. Just love the fact that we were able to see some garbage time tonight. The fact that we had such a big lead allowed us to see some of our guys that we normally didn't see, and a lot of them really did play well and reminded us that they should probably be getting a little more minutes there, if not a lot. But our stars stepped forward as well. You just love the overall team effort. We'll start with Anthony Davis, 16 points, 14 rebounds, 1 assist, 5 blocks, a plus 31, only 1 turnover, 6 out of 9 shooting. You just love the efficiency there. The blocks are phenomenal. I think he set a record for the most blocks in a 5-game span by any one player, over 25 blocks. Just completely destroying the Memphis Grizzlies. And even though his offense was wildly inconsistent, his defense was just dominant the entire way, and that's why we're out of that round. LBJ, 22 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 steal, 3 turnovers, a plus 32, 9 out of 13 shooting, 2 of 5 from the 3. So you love the efficiency. Efficiency King has returned to the playoffs and couldn't come at a better time in a closeout game. Legendary stuff, man. You just can't be more pleased with how that ultimately paid out when you consider what Dylan Brooks and all those guys were saying about us. And the whole 40 thing, he comes out and gets 20 in one game and then proceeds to beat him by 40 in the closeout game. I mean, it's just poetic justice at its highest order. And it's just the type of stuff that legends are made of. And we will be telling the story for years to come. Dylan Brooks, who has just tanked his credibility in this league. In just one series, he's managed to tank his credibility. It's amazing. He went from somebody that everybody respected to people on his own team don't even look him in the eye at this point. I'll be surprised if he's a Memphis Grizzly next year. I really will. But enough of him. Let's get back to the guys who were kicking butt out there. D'Angelo Russell had the best playoff game of his young career. D'Lo went for 31 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, a block on a plus 27, 12 of 17 shooting, 5 out of 9 threes. And it seemed like he hit even more threes than that. That dude was throwing those back-breaking threes out there for Memphis to catch, one after another, just piercing their hearts. I mean, it was so very lovely to watch him blow the game open in that way. This is why I was so excited about us bringing him to the team, because we know in moments like these, especially when the lights are the brightest, he's going to shine. And when the lead is surging and the momentum is surging, that three-point shot that he has is about one of the most reliable things out there. So for me, when he's clicking like this, and you get efficiency from LBJ like that, and you get efficiency from Anthony like this, you can see what this team is capable of. You can see why we beat the number 2 overall seed by 40 in a closeout game. It's when our talent is able to display itself without any of the holes that we naturally dig ourselves with Darvin's system that he did amend out of today. It gave us an opportunity to have rim protection on the floor at all times, size advantages on the floor at all times, easy buckets translated to defense and rebounds and all of those different types of things that help this roster lean into its strengths, which is what we talk about all the time, thus creating opportunities to play other people and rest our stars and all these different things that make you happy with the outcome. So this is what I was saying the whole time. If the system is going to keep you from being able to see this type of production, the system betrays itself. And so we had to get away from certain things within what we were doing to incorporate some guys that hadn't been incorporated a bit more, and to slip some guys into the lineup in different ways. And if you notice, the same minutes he wanted to give the people that he normally would give them, he gave them. Malik Beasley was able to get 9 minutes, I believe, tonight. It's the same minutes we would have otherwise given him if we would have kept that rotation the same way. Look, let's see, who else? Troy Brown got 9 minutes tonight. I know he's been pushed around the lineups, but those are the numbers that you would normally ask him to get. He still got those minutes. Why did he get those minutes? Because we got him in garbage time. You know what I'm saying? There's more than one way to get what it is that you're trying to get. If you do things to make life easy for yourself, you turn around and realize you've met your minutes quotas. You've really met them. And so that's the irony of the whole thing. If you look at Austin Reeves, he was out there for 34 minutes, gave us 11.6 rebounds, 8 assists, 2 blocks, plus 23. So you really love that, even though his three-point efficiency was horrible. 1 of 7, so I don't know what happened to Austin's 3. 5 of 12 from the field, so he helped us in other areas. That's really what it comes down to. Wenyen Gabriel, in 10 minutes, was managing to do some really productive stuff. 3 out of 5, 2 blocks, 2 boards, 6 points. You really like that production in 10 minutes. Rui in 22 minutes, 6 points, 4 rebounds, 1 steal, 1 block, and an emphatic dunk. He should have been on the floor more, as we know, but we're happy that he's leaving this series with a higher respect to his name. People are going to have to respect his name in a higher way. And we're probably going to have to pay him more because of this series alone. So whoever we see next, he's going to be intricate in making sure that we match up well against their wings, because no matter who it is, we're definitely dealing with some elite wings that are going to need him to play well against them. And I think the defense that he's going to be getting in that series is going to be a little tougher for him too, regardless of who it is. So these are things that we're thinking about already. He was a plus 11 in that game. Definitely like that. Dennis Schroeder was a quiet plus 13. He didn't score tonight, but did get us 5 assists, 4 boards, 2 steals, 2 blocks, if I read that correctly. Did I say 2 blocks? Don't quote me on that. It might be 2 points. But nevertheless, he was very much a contributor uh, in a quiet role of 23 minutes of quiet basketball. 23 minutes and didn't score. That's crazy. Did he score? I don't know. But he didn't score very much. He was 1 for 4 in the field. So that'll tell you right there. Beasley had a pretty good game for himself. 2 of 6 from the field. 1 of 4 from 3. But he hit a 3. 9 points, 2 assists, and 2 boards in just 9 minutes. I believe that's 9 minutes. I think he's the only one I didn't write down the minutes, actually. Max Christie really played well in the garbage time that he was given. 5 points, 3 rebounds, a block, a +8, 2 out of 3 shooting, 1 of 1 from the 3. So the boy's jump shot, he came in and struck in a mid-range jumper with the same amount of confidence he used the last time he checked in about 3 weeks ago and did the exact same thing. And I said, man, how come he can't get like 5 shots a game? As confident as he shoots, and as much as it tends to go in, and as well as he tends to defend, I just really think we've left so much production on the table with Max Christie. And in per-minute situations, you can see what he can actually do for you. So that right there in 9 minutes is a hell of a lot of production. +8, that's a lot. Let's see. Troy Brown, as I said, he got his 9 minutes. He did not score. Got 3 rebounds, 2 assists, +8. Mo Bamba actually got on the floor, did not score, but did get 3 boards, 1 assist, and 1 block in 9 minutes. So, we like that the garbage time is really important to me because I just want to see our guys get rest, and I do want to see some of these players that we don't use get some run. So just in case we need to use them, they're not completely cold and completely outside of things. So this is why garbage time is so important, and we really don't see garbage time a lot, Laker fans, because we don't get these type of blowouts very much. I don't think we've blown out anybody this much this year. This might be the biggest win of the season in terms of scoring margin. And that is awesome because it shows that your team can show up at its best in its biggest moments. So that gives you a lot of confidence that it can perform later on, especially if we don't do anything to harm ourselves. The Memphis Grizzlies really got locked down by some fantastic defense tonight. As we said, we blocked 1 million shots tonight. Anthony Davis had 5 of them on his own. And you look and see what they did in the stats, and you just understand that they were depleted. Just like I told you guys, they were ready to go home. All they needed was somebody to put the hammer down on them, and they were going to fold. And that's exactly what happened. Ja Morant was a -28, 3 for 12. He had 10 points. 10 points. Oh, wait, I'm looking at somebody else's stats, but he did have 10 points. He was worse than that. It was actually 3 of 16, -31. And that's Ja Morant in the closeout game. Tillman had 2 points, -16. He had foul trouble a good majority of the game, which really helped a lot. JJ was awful tonight, 3 of 12, 1 of 6 from 3, 14 points. Yeah, just -28. Just a bad night for him. Desmond Bane, 5 of 16, -30, 15 points in a closeout game. Dylan Brooks, 4 of 11, -23, 10 points in a closeout game. Pretty solid for him. David Roddy, 1 for 6. Tyus Jones, 1 for 5. I told you, Tyus is with us. Conchar, 1 for 3. They were just awful. They couldn't get nothing going offensively. It was a bad night for the Memphis Grizzlies. We jumped on top of them and just really stifled them from the start to finish. And when you put the type of defensive players on the floor that we're capable of putting down there, and I forgot to mention Vando. We'll go back and look at his numbers. But the way that he was playing as well, just locking people up and just going all over the place, being ridiculous. As a whole, we were defensively stifling them and swatting everything like it was volleyball out there. I mean, it just got to a point where you could clearly see that the Memphis Grizzlies were in over their head. The lights were too bright. You had stars in every corner. It was just too much going on for the Memphis Grizzlies. And you could clearly see that home court advantage for us was really key. When you consider how we won that first game in the series, I would harken back to that and say, man, that was a very important win. Because it's the difference between having a closeout game here and a closeout game out in Memphis. And so we really, really loved having the home court tonight. It was a huge deal. The fans were great, and the atmosphere was just spectacular, and I really genuinely believe our team fed off of it big time tonight. Now let's go back and look at Vando. Just because I forgot to mention his numbers, and I know that he had a good game, I might have actually forgot to write those down, and I'm very sorry I did that if that's the case. I think I did forget to write Vando's numbers down. How the hell did I do that? It was one person I forgot, and it was Vanderbilt. Let me tell you, though, Vanderbilt had a very, very key game. I think he hit like 4 3-point shots. He blocked several shots. He was very key to what we did tonight. He was not quiet at all, and he was a massive, intricate piece to what we ultimately did tonight. Defense to offense, we couldn't have did it without him, and so I'm very, very, very sorry that I didn't write down his numbers. That was just by error. It wasn't because he wasn't impactful in any way. So yeah, man, definitely like what I saw from Vanderbilt as a whole, and want to continue to see us utilize him in ways that bring out the best in him. I don't know that we can get him to hit 3 and 4 3-point shots like this again, but the threes that he hit were absolute bat breakers and just overall contributed to the 40-point lead that we ended up winning the game having. Dominant performance by the LA Lakers, man. Dominant performance, and really you can't blame the refs because they got to the free throw line more than us. For those who are going to blame the refs for this situation, no, friends. No, you can't do that. You can blame this defense, though. You can definitely do that. When you consider this team had 15 dang blocks, you can blame that for sure. And 52 points in the paint while still shooting better from behind the arc. I mean, that's pure domination. Pure domination. Rarely do you see a team not double a team's points in the paint, but get 20 more points in the paint than a team and score more from behind the arc and have a higher efficiency from behind the arc. I don't think I've seen that too many times. It just doesn't happen. If you're shooting a three better than another team, then chances are they got more points in the paint, even if the score is lopsided. So we really, really dominated them in a lot of different ways. And if we didn't turn the ball over as much, it would have been even more devastating, honestly. 15 turnovers. It would have been even more devastating. What can I say, man? The Los Angeles Lakers showed up and showed out. I just wish they would have had the ideas to make these type of changes to the roster sooner. We would have had that much more energy going into this next series. Hopefully we don't revert in any way into old ways. But then again, you got to consider new matchups. So what may not have worked in this series may just very well work very well against the Warriors or against the Kings. So we got to amend that and just start from scratch, start doing homework on those two teams once we know who is going to be there for us. But we're waiting for them, man, and that is something, if you would have told me at the beginning of the season was going to be the case, I would have taken it for sure. You know what I mean? To be in the second round while the other team is waiting on, while we're waiting on the other team, that's definitely not something we thought would have happened when we were 2-10. So congratulations to everybody involved, Jeannie Buss, Rob Pelinka, the coaching staff, the players, everybody who put themselves in a position to make us this happy this evening. Laker fans are ecstatic. It is definitely time to celebrate. Memphis, we're putting y'all behind us. I would love to get on this big old long soliloquy about how disrespectful they've been and how much they deserve to be, kicked out of this situation. But the score tells the whole story, man. You listen to what Dillon Brooks had to say, and you look at the score of Game 6, and then don't ever allow Dillon Brooks to say nothing to nobody else who has a championship ring. I don't want to hear him talk to Draymond Green. I don't want to hear him talk to anybody. Because at the end of the day, this is what his mouth got his team. I don't respect nobody till they give me 40. He gave you 40. You know what I'm saying? He gave you 40, two different ways. Neither of which what you asked for, but both of which are what you deserve. I mean, it couldn't be more poetic than that. So I got a lot of respect for my squad. I got a lot of respect for LeBron James and just the overall effort the team went on to drive that point home in these numbers. Because I don't think that's by accident. I really don't. And so I'm just very pleased with my squad, man. Watch LeBron James walk off the court at the end of that game. It's all business. He wasn't sitting there slapping hands and all that other stuff. No. Because we got a work to do. He had a very, very rough series. And that's me using very kind language. But we close it out strong. And we understand that he's working his way back from injury. And it's going to take 48 minutes in every game we play in order to win. We did some things in this series that we were not proud of, and we left ourselves vulnerable to play extra basketball. We're lucky, better yet, blessed, and thankful that we're walking out of this series healthy. Everybody's intact. That is the biggest thing. Beyond everything but winning is the fact that we're 100% walking out of this series. So let's enjoy this rest. Everybody should relax, kick their feet up a little bit. But there's so much work to do. So when we're done kicking our feet up, we need to get back to it. That's what it really comes down to. And let's have a better second series than we had in the first one. Let's, just like I've been saying, practice is going to be a very important thing in these playoffs for this team, because we know we're talented enough, but guys got to continue to learn one another. And I think we learned some things in this past series that help us understand what we can get away with and what we probably should not try. And so hopefully, if we're thinking clearly, we've cussed everybody out, shamed them enough, picked against them enough. Hopefully they're motivated enough to continue to stay focused for 48 minutes a game, because that's really why I didn't pick them to win tonight. Is because I thought that they might not show up for 48. I thought they might go out there with a stubborn mindset, run the same rotations they've been running all year, and then proceed to have the same result. But they made the adjustment necessary. And you see the results. When you see me screaming into the camera that I think this team can win games by 30, or I think we can out-rebound teams by 20, or I think, when I say all kinds of demonstrative statements about what I think this roster can do, it's because I genuinely believe that. And when nights like this occur, it just shows me what it is that I already saw in my head. This is what this roster can do a lot of the time when we don't ever leave ourselves without rim protection. And Wenyen Gabriel, I thought, did a phenomenal job down there playing the center position tonight. I thought we really looked good. Wenyen Gabriel and Rui Hachimura held us down very firm while the AD was out. And when AD stepped back in, he was the best defensive player, period. That's just is what it is. So for me, the dominance of our defense showed tonight, which just reiterates why I didn't like what I saw in Game 5 when we were going offense instead of defense. When you know that your defense, when you go defense to offense, you can drop 125 points on a very good defensive Grizzly team. 125 points. So that's what it really is about. When I say this roster could, talent level can win the championship, it's because I know we can have nights like this from D'Lo. I know we can have nights like this from Austin. We can have nights like this from everybody. And if it's all clicking, there's no team that's going to beat us. I'm telling you. This might be a little bit too much talent for any of the teams left in this league right now. And we have a night like this against Boston, they're going to have a hell of a time trying to beat us. Have a night like this against Joel, he's going to have a hell of a time trying to beat you. And that's what it's really about. So that's why I'm telling this team to keep focused, stay detail-oriented. Don't leave yourself holes on the floor. Don't take possessions off or get relaxed and sigh relief because you have a certain type of lead. None of that dignifies what it is that you're capable of doing as a roster. When you can stomp on teams like this, it's like, this helps you understand what your ceiling is. Your ceiling is Larry O'Brien, Los Angeles. That's the ceiling. If you look and break down each and every roster that's left, there's only maybe 2 or 3 of them that you really think could actually give us a real series. We should beat all of these teams, all of them. And so that's just really what it comes down to. You see me pick against the team, it's because I think they're going to do things that's going to hurt themselves. Not because I think there's some type of deficiency into the roster that's going to keep us from being able to compete. It's just not there. That's not the case. So, Game 5's bench issues where we were minus 25 up and down the roster, none of that never needs to happen. And I know that when I see it perform like this. It just don't ever have to happen. So that's really what it comes down to, man. We're extremely happy tonight, man. We're very happy. We understand there's a big picture here to see. But when you get out of the first round, any team should be pleased to be able to make it out of the first round. A lot of teams' goals are to be able to do what it is we just accomplished. And one of them should have been us when we were in that hole. So congratulations to the fullest, LA. This ain't the night to complain about anything, really. The team dominated on both sides of the floor, leaned into its strengths, and showed once again why all these rants I be having are justifiable. Because this is what I be seeing in my head when I'm screaming, I can't stand certain things. Because this team can do this, man. They can do this against anybody. So that's really what it is, man. I'm glad Memphis is now in a space where they can lick their wounds and Ja can go get the help that he's going to need for the long term so that he can come back a more mature professional, ready to do what he does. And hopefully those young players learn their lesson, man. That's really what it was about for me in regards to Memphis. They did not handle themselves in a wise way, but they can definitely teach somebody later on when they get older about what they did wrong here, and that's really what it's all about. That's what it's about. Dylan Brooks learned a hard lesson. He had to tuck his tail. He's probably the laughing stock of the NBA right now. And it's not necessarily because he talked crap. It's because he wasn't man enough to continue talking when he was down. That's when he showed how much of a front runner and how much of a leader he's not. You know what I mean? It's very easy to run your mouth. But when it's time to say, yo, you were right, or yo, I'm not living up to my end of the bargain, or yo, I've learned something now, it's a little different, he ain't ready to talk. He ain't want to talk. And it's like, bro, if you're going to be that WWE character, you got to have a script ready for when you get your butt whooped, bro. You can't get out of character then. That's where he made his biggest mistake. If he would have just kept the mask on, even as a loser, he could have routed to the wheels fall off. But if you show us that ain't who you are, and that you're really just using that as a mask to mask just deficiencies and insecurities, then people are gonna eat that up. They're gonna jump all over that, bro. So he's a young kid. I don't think he's a bad player, but he needs to work on his game. It's the same thing I said after the last playoffs in Memphis, because I followed them last year in the playoffs very closely. He hurts them with his inefficiency, but he's so aggressive in shooting the rock, and Taylor Jenkins won't put a muzzle on that kid as it pertains to how much he's shooting. And so it hurt him last year in the playoffs, and I assure you it hurt them again. So I don't know what they're going to do with Dylan Brooks. Like I said, I'd be surprised if he was a player on this team next year. But even so, he got to go somewhere. And when he gets there, he's got to stop doing some of the stuff that he was doing there, offensively. More driving for you, Dylan, less shooting. More playmaking stuff for others, less shooting. Because this 4 of 11, 3 of 15 crap, your team can't win that way. So that's really what it comes down to Dylan Brooks. David Roddy, as much has been said about Tyus Jones and how fantastic of a player he is, he really was bad in this series, man. For all of the greatness that he brings to the table, boy, was his efficiency shooting the ball was lacking in this series. He's had a lot of 1 for 5, 1 for 7s, 0 for 7s. Like he's in a very bad slump, and I think it's a big part of why we were able to win the series. I really believe that Tyus Jones being half of himself or a third of himself did not serve this team very well. What else? Let's see. Looking at their numbers, they just had a bad night, man. What can I say? They just had a bad night, and we made the adjustments that would otherwise make it more difficult for them, which is what's really there to see. We didn't leave some of the stuff on the floor that they're able to take advantage of and get all these long runs and stuff like that. We just closed those holes up. So when the Lakers actually show you what they're capable of doing against this Memphis Grizzlies teams, then you see, we never had to leave them holes open. They never should have won on that 29-3 run or whatever it was. That should have never happened, because we had the personnel to close those holes immediately. We just didn't do it. So hopefully this was the last time we'll ever have to utter anything like that, especially if we run into a Golden State Warrior team, because if you do some of this stuff against them, they will get you out of here sooner than we got Memphis out of here. I'll tell you that right now. As happy as we are about this evening, we had better be very tight against the Golden State Warriors. And if it's the Sacramento Kings, then of course we got to be tight against them for different reasons and different ways. But I'm telling you, with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson being healthy, it is ever so important that we tighten up on our turnovers, that we respect the rebounding and size and all that. We respect wings, and of course perimeter defense is paramount against both of those teams that we may see coming up. These are the two best scoring teams in the league. Period. So we need to understand that as we go into this situation. We scored 125 points tonight. We need to be aiming to score 125, maybe even more than that, to beat these teams. Either one of them. So I like that Ja was able to come back and play in this series. It gave us a good look at a dynamic player. Same thing for the other guy. What's his name? Desmond Bane. That's what I'm trying to say. Him going off and Ja going off left us with a simulation that'll help us against De'Aaron Fox, Klay Thompson, whoever is going to be a Malik Monk, all these different possible matchups. I'm glad Ja was out there running around. Because if he wasn't, we would be likely getting caught off guard by one of those super guys that are coming up next. So, very happy about that. And I told you I didn't think we were gonna lose if he was out there. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't no sense in him missing the damn series. Come on back and take this butt whooping. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel about that, and that's exactly what happened. So I couldn't be more happy, man. These dudes was talking a lot of smack all series long. Well, no, just half the series, only when they were winning. But they were talking, and they said a lot of disrespectful stuff, talking about Rui Hachimura and how he wasn't gonna ball out and all this other stuff about him. You know, he's moving on to play more playoffs while they'll be sitting on watching him. That's really what it comes down to. So this was the way that this was supposed to go. This is poetic justice. This is vindication. This is the world set straight. This is justice. This is all that. It's a lot of people happy to see Memphis eliminated. I'm one of them. They was talking crap all year long, not just about us, about everybody. On IG, they was running their mouth like they had 17 Larry O'Briens on their trophy case. They do not. They don't have a single one, and this year is yet another year where somebody else hoisted the trophy above their heads besides them. And that's what it's about. With these front-running teams, these teams that focus on the wrong things, all these different crap that don't have nothing to do with winning and being a good example for people on how to do things correctly. You will be an example of how to do things incorrectly, and people will learn from that too just the same. So thank you, Memphis. Yet another team that taught us a tough lesson about putting your chest out, poking bears, and disrespecting people who've accomplished things that you will never accomplish. So that's what I got to say, man. Salute LeBron James. You know, we're going to give the game ball to somebody. You know, I really respect what I saw from Anthony Davis. I thought he was so very phenomenal on both sides of the floor, especially giving us so many blocks. But I just think that for me, the game ball is definitely going to go to D'Lo, man. You can't have him shooting 5 out of 9 threes, 12 of 17 efficiency with a plus 27, contributing to the defensive end a little bit. You can't have him shooting that well and not give him the game ball. I know there are going to be a lot of people who say LBJ also deserves the game ball for how well he approached this game with his 9 to 13 efficiency, 2 out of 5 from behind the arc. You love that. Plus 32, the highest efficiency of anybody on the team. So it's just a preference thing for me. That game ball could have went one of 3 places in my humble opinion, but I'm just going to choose to give it to D'Lo because I really, really appreciate the way that he blew this game open with his 3-point shooting and just how he's bouncing back as a playmaker, making better plays than he did 2 games ago where he really, really struggled and hurt the team, in my opinion. So this was an excellent bounce back, high efficiency, career playoff high game for D'Lo, our original drafted Laker, who we brought back around for the right time, to hopefully get himself a ring with the Lakers, man, and bring this dream full circle. So that's why I'm giving him the game ball. I just love the fact that he showed up big in the playoffs, and I just love the effort from our team, man, led by LeBron James, and the effort that he put in, coming in early, getting shots up, and just taking this thing as seriously as necessary. After we criticized him greatly for not giving us what we needed in the last game, and in the game in game 2, I think it was as well. So, yeah, blessed to be out of the first round, people. Blessed to be out of the first round. Got our eyes on the prize though. It's about old Baldy, man. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Larry O'Brien, the only trophy that really matters in this league. I don't care what everybody else is aiming for. That's the only one they're gonna respect in the long run. Believe me. I don't care what people are married to today. Their grandkids, their great-grandkids, and their great-grandkids are going to be lining up seeing who won the trophy. And who didn't win the trophy, that's the team that got forgotten. So don't let anybody fool you about these little other individual goals. They don't matter as much in the long term. Only Larry truly matters. So that's what we're after, man. How many more wins do we need? 12 more wins to Larry O'Brien. And I know it's not that simple. You got to do a lot to get those wins. But I believe with the roster we'd have, 48 minutes of intentional play every single game, we can win the championship. If we're focused on every possession, taking them seriously, not leaving ourselves any holes, not kicking our own behind, then I would challenge any team to be able to beat this roster in a 7-game series if used properly. You're going to have a hard time, man. You're going to have a real tough time. So that is the thought, man. Salute the Kobe Minute if I forgot to do that. I think I did, but we love the fact that we still think of him on playoff night because at the end of the day, boy, oh boy, was he well represented tonight. When you consider all of the talent that showed up, all the superstars, they watched him play. Some of them same people came to watch Kobe play in big games just like this, and he delivered just like our guys delivered tonight. So this is a good era in LA. And I think guys are continuing to add to their Laker lure. When you talk about Anthony Davis and you consider, does he deserve to be put up in the rafters? Well, we're getting out of the first round off of his defense, so he's continuing to add to that. And LBJ, same thing, Guys are putting themselves in a position to be remembered as Laker playoff performers, and that is an entirely different thing than being in the regular season playing for the LA Lakers. So that is the thought, man. Super happy with this victory. We got them boys by 40 points, and we get to move on. So that is awesome. And we don't have to do too much traveling as well, since the next series will undoubtedly be in Northern California. So that's like a 45-minute flight. So I think that matters some when you consider, obviously, going back and forth between here and Tennessee. You know what I mean? So I think that will help our guys in the long run with our rest. And then maybe we get lucky and Phoenix Phoenix is a team we see in the third round, and we don't have to travel too much then. So I just like the idea of the path that we're on right now. It seems to be panning out pretty good since we were able to beat Memphis. And now we wait to see if Steph Curry's going to keep things going, or is it going to be new blood out there with the beam in the sky that we're going to have to keep dim. So whatever the case may be, I trust our team has the roster to give it what it's supposed to have. That's the best way I know how to word the thought. We'll give it what it's supposed to have. So that's what I got to say, man. Congratulations, LA Lakers. We're out of the first round, baby. BDO 44. Thank you all for watching.